numbers. We are at ground zero. We're at day zero. It's November 5th today. And even in numbers, ground zero equals 143, which equals November 5th. Building 7 equals 143 November 5th. Hey everyone, how you doing? So, I've got some good news, some potentially bad news, and some good news, all right? So, newcomers, which there might be some, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, the order of the alphabet. Hey Marilyn, how you doing? How's everyone doing? So, I've been saying for a while that November 5th is our day. I've been saying recently for a while that I feel like there might be a scare event of some description which would potentially involve nuclear. And lo and behold, just in the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, they put out, maybe it was, I saw it about 30, 40 minutes ago, but about an hour or so ago, they're announcing that there's an unmanned missile, nuclear missile testing that's going to be done just hours after the election doors close. So even me, with all this that I know, my heart sank, and I still feel it now. But also, I feel a sense of calm, and I feel a sense of awakening, and we're going into the new world. Hey everyone, how you doing? So it looks like this is what's going to happen. That's what it looks like. Some people were saying, oh, it's just a hoax, and maybe it is. But there's loads of news reports saying they're going to do this missile launch. I think they said it's out of California. California's 88, which is Trump 88. Now, over and above all of that, it's going to be, in my opinion, it will be fake. Meaning that whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but it will look like it's real. And I believe it's Project Bluebeam that they'll use, which in other words is Project Aurora. I know President Trump said Project Aurora is something else, but you know, many things have different meanings. And I even thought last night, I checked in with my cousin Paul, who's part of my numbers, and immediately, I think when I asked him, I just asked the questions I thought. I came out of my bathroom and into my bedroom, and the clock, I think at the time I asked him, was 1:48. And 1:48 in numbers is simple gematria. It's Donald J. Trump. And it's also Project Bluebeam. I was like, okay, thanks, Paul. So I believe that's what it is. And Paul Bushnell, as I said, is 143, November 5th. And his date of birth was 118, which is 11/8, which is January 18th, 118. Add those together, it's 261, coronavirus puzzle. November 22nd, 261. August 31st for Diana, 261. August 29th in Terminator 2 is 261. And that's when Judgment Day is. And 261. The Project Looking Glass, 261. The nuclear war scare event is 261. The election scare event is 228, which is the best is yet to come. So one of the Q posts as well is 112. 112 is scare event, and it talks about all these sequential things. It says that the election is not necessarily this time because of what's happening, and the votes won't be. Anyway, because of this, I think it's going to trigger everything around the world, and we'll see rods of God. So they'll make it look like it's a massive disaster, but it's the Great Awakening. It's the beginning of the Great Awakening. But even as I'm saying it, I can feel it because I'm a human like you guys and girls, and I can feel it, and I'm like, wow, this is it. This is what it feels like. I said it to Mark a few days ago. I said, well, if there's going to be a nuclear attack, they're not going to announce it for days because that would be too much for people. But it's interesting that it's just done a few hours just before the election doors close. So we're going to see. This is it, folks. This is it. And so that is good news. It's bad news, but it's good news, because it's not going to be real, but it's going to look particularly real, and it will wake so many people up. And if I'm feeling it, I know the world's going to feel it. But when they get to the other side of it and they realize they're not dead and things have changed, that's going to be amazing for them. And something, my friend, the real Kim Shady, we were exchanging tweets and stuff today. I've had a lot of problems I've put loads out on Twitter today, but I've had real problems trying to upload videos. I've had to delete things, and it's not really, the storage seems to be full. Then I've uploaded the software. Anyway, things are going on. It's all part of it. But she and others, it was her, but some others as well within her comments of her tweets, were talking about President Trump being the Dreamweaver. And I hadn't noticed this, but this made perfect sense, and it makes perfect sense now for me to figure this out today, or to be pointed to it, and I've added my numbers on top of it to confirm it. So President Trump on the Joe Rogan show talked about weaves. He says that, it's difficult to do a really weave because they're complex. Complex is 88, Trump. California is 88. Lex Luthor does that California event with the missile, and then Quantum 107, military 107, Trump's 107, Superman 107, reverses the flow of time and changes the effects of everything and goes back. Now, there's also another video of President Trump talking about the weave, and guess what the numbers are? So Weaver is 74, which is DeLorean, which is Gematria, which is English, which is London. President Trump during COVID had his 74th birthday. Jesus is 74, Messiah is 74, Muhammad is 74. So all the Abraham Accords, you see. And I think if I remember right, I think Abraham Accords is 107, which would be Trump's, which would be the weaving, or the Weaver. Now, it's also connected to the art of the deal, which I'm going to show you in a second. So, Dreamweaver, Dream is 41, TSB, my initials, Alien King USA, Dreamweaver. Guess what Dreamweaver comes to, folks? Dreamweaver comes to 11/5, November 5th. And on November 5th, I understand what Dreamweaver is. Everything's meant to be. Everything's meant to be. The Dreamweaver is 148, Donald J. Trump. Simple Gematria at 148. Emmett Brown, 148. The Art of the Deal, 148. Project Bluebeam, 148. Something else as well in the phonetic military alphabet, like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo. Something else within that alphabet. President Trump said not to speak about it, so I'm not going to speak about it, but he's spoken about it in an indirect way, and I'll do it in an indirect way. So something else in regards to that, I don't even know how you say it, the foxtrot, the military alphabet, I'll just call it that. Something else as well also comes to 148, and we're going to see that as well now. That's going to happen. I can see that's going to happen. That will be part of all of this around the world, but that's going to happen. And you'll know, because I've put clues on Twitter and I've mentioned it here, but you'll know in the future that it was correct, because President Trump told me about it a couple of weeks ago. So, this is quite emotional, everyone. It's about to happen, folks. We're going to get the upgrade that we wanted for all of our lives. I've said this before, but even in President Trump's book, page 355 is Remember the 5th of November. And it says the week that was, how the deals came out. That's the week to remember. And the index is 369. The Tesla number is 369. And there's even more. So the Dreamweaver is 148, the art of the deal. Trump, the art of the deal. Today's newspaper, in the Daily Star, can't remember exactly what it says. It was all to do with clones and clowning and Starmer. But that came out to 236, which was Trump, the art of the deal. If you do this, is the Dreamweaver is 176, which is real Tom numbers, which is Back to the Future 176, November the 5th 176, Guy Fawkes Night 176, Level Playing Field 176. Donald John Trump, the Dreamweaver, comes to 333. I've said this before and I put it out on Twitter again today. Anyone that's been to Mar-a-Lago knows that Palm Beach is on this peninsula of land, and then you've got West Palm Beach on the mainland. And you go over a bridge and it's on the 98 road. 9 plus 8 is 17Q. It's the first numbers I got around Diana because her funeral service is at 9 plus 8. 98 is Independence, 98 Romanoff, Mission, Station, and there's a huge 33, and the 33 is a dentist building. Dentist is 91, POTUS, Future, Liberty, Space Force, and building is 78 Kennedy. So dentist building is 169, which is the Great Awakening, which is Trump Tower, which is Trump Weaving, 169. Thomas Bushnell, 169. Robert Zemeckis, the director of Back to the Future, 169. And then if you do this, if you do Donald John Trump, the Dreamweaver, comes to 333, as I've said, plus MAGA 22 deal comes to 355. And he's been wearing dark MAGA the last week or so with Elon. And the reason they're doing that is they are poking fun, they're trolling the wizards, the evil ones that have kept this world spellbound. They're breaking the spell. And thank goodness we've got 373 in the chat. That's perfect. 373 is 1.21 gigawatts, which is Chrysler, which is New Yorker, which is Empire State. Yeah, them all together. I've said it before that New York Manhattan is a circuit board. It's 355, which is how the deals came out. That's the chapter, the last one, 355. And if you do, there's some others on 355, which I've said, which is Parliament Square, Westminster. Remember the 5th of November. New York, Washington, DC, London. That comes to 322. 322 is the Skull and Bones number. 322 is military industrial complex, and industrial is 127, which is November 5th, which is Vatican City, which is, or sorry, the Vatican, I should say, the Vatican, and it's the Ace of Spades. It's about to happen, folks. It's about to happen. And the other thing with all of this is Real Kim Shady's tweets were, and I've retweeted lots of them today. She noted that Eric Trump yesterday, right at the end, on the last rally, I think it was in, was it Michigan? I think it was Grand Rapids, Michigan, I think. And it was at 12:12, I believe, Eric pointed it out. And that's making reference to 12:12 back in 2012 when they say the timeline changed. And we're kind of going through the second Back to the Future now where everything's kind of gone to shit, basically. I mean, it's still great and growing for a lot of us, but the world as a whole has gone down the sewer. And President Trump comes out, and the caption, even the announcer says President Obama, and then he says Trump afterwards. And Eric posted that out, and Kim Shady found it and put the captions up, and I've done that now. Well, that's going up. If it will go up on Twitter, you'll see it after this show. But it feels like we're going to go back. President Trump said it the other day. He said we actually have to go back to 1798. So something's coming, folks. And he brought up his Uncle John. Uncle John was Nikola Tesla's apprentice, and the apprentice of Uncle John Trump was Donald. and Donald's apprentice is Barron. And you've also got other ones like obviously JFK and Junior and Diana in there, but that line from the Nikola Tesla to the Trumps is direct. And that's what's been happening. That's what's been happening. DeLorean time machine is 174, which is real Donald Trump, which is November 6th, the day after. The Batman film, as I've been saying for the last month or so, started on Halloween, went through to November 5th. There's an election, a political election in New York, in Gotham City. And on the eve of the election, when they're announcing the results, something goes off. And that's what they've put that film out for. And then they have a kind of clear up job on the next day, on the 6th. It's coming, folks. It's coming. I kind of can't believe it, but I can as well. Because I've known this day will be coming. Everything points to it. And I was waiting for the nuclear bit. And the thing is, today's felt a bit like Christmas. I don't know how you felt, but it's felt a bit like Christmas. And I've just been enjoying myself, getting ready, realizing that some things I felt like I needed to get ready, probably I don't need to get ready per se. The main thing is I felt I had to fulfill my calling and continue to put stuff out for everybody. That's the main focus, and so that's what I've been doing, even with all the electrical anomalies that have been taking place. But it's a peculiar feel. How do you guys and girls feel? How do you feel? I mean, we know what's coming. We know what's coming. I mean, the world is... You know what, the thing is, it is necessary. They need it. They need it because they've had 4 years to just, and it's got to where we've got to. But nuclear is in Back to the Future, and nuclear is enough power to transform time. And so they're repairing the timelines. I don't understand all of how they do it, but I am glimpsing at it and seeing it, and I know in these last 4 and 3/4 years, my life has transformed in my understanding of things. And I've witnessed things, and I know you guys and girls have as well. And it's here. It's here. It's about to take place, everyone. We've been prepared because once whatever's coming is here, people are going to need, our friends and family and the communities are going to need our help. So there's been a brilliant, perfect plan to wake up as many as possible, us starseeds really, and then, thank you, bless you, and our mission just begins now, really, I mean, in terms of the timeline change, if that's what they're going to do, and they seem to be saying that. I mean, President Trump tweeted back in 2020, in 2012, on 11/11, which is Remembrance Day, which is the end of week to remember. He said, this is the most important election. This is the most important election in our history, or the most important election that he's involved in, because he's got to stop Obama. Now, we know President Trump didn't announce running until 2015 when he came down the escalators. So what's he talking about there? Well, Kim's put it really eloquently that it seems like we're going back. Something's going to happen, and if it's done under the guise of nuclear, but there's higher forces above all of that can do these things, then we're going to repair the timelines. And who knows how that's going to be. We're going to find each other. I mean, I'm amazed that this is the greatest story ever told, and we're on the precipice of it now. And it's not quite what we thought before we got to 2020, but nevertheless, it's been so welcome. All timelines are... So I looked up the description of Dreamweaver, and people have got the negative side of it because they've been doing that stuff, but we needed a great Dreamweaver to overcome them, and that's what we've got in President Trump and his team, and us lot as well. Even though we don't understand all of it, our consciousness is doing this as well with everyone. But it says a Dreamweaver uses all things, like all threads of reality, and makes it better for the whole, which is what's happening. President Trump is making everything better for everybody. I've been a testament. My life is a testament of that. My life is... I was protected. I always wanted to I always knew I had abilities to do things, but I was stopped. That's why I've met a lot of these famous people, but I was always on the door. I was never let in. I was never welcomed in. Thankfully, I wasn't, because I didn't understand the depth of it. And I wouldn't want to have been put in that situation. So I was protected for now, like lots of you were. But nevertheless, we're here, and President Trump he's been threading everyone's dreams, possibilities, wishes, desires together in a marvelous way, and that's only done through divine and higher beings and higher realities, and that's why the ascension is happening. And then when that fabric, that tapestry, the great Trump Barrow tapestry, we'll call it that, when that's done and complete, it will just be perfect. But I mean, it blew my socks off this morning when I saw the stuff about the weave, because I hadn't seen those. But Dreamweaver's 1/15/11/5, which is November 5th, so it was appropriate that I saw it today. And that's how they've done it. And there's probably other things as well that we'll know how they've done it, but that's how they've done it, and we'll understand it going forward in time, or even going back in time. It's amazing. I'm blown away. I'm blown away, and it hasn't happened just yet, but it's about to in the next few hours. That's the thing. In the next few hours, into the morning here, and the next day, week, where are we going to be? How is it going to be? But something is afoot. Is about to happen. It's incredible. But with all of this, rest assured, everything is fine. So my promise to you, and I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again tonight, is that all your disappointments, all your injustices, all your heartache, all your perceived failures and pain that you've gone through in life has brought you to this point. And guess what? They're all going to go. They're all going to disappear in the blink of an eye. And that's because we do live in a wonderful, there is a God, there is a higher power. We are higher powers, we are gods. And for whatever reason, we agreed to come to this experience, and it's an experience, but we're going to have the contrast of the bitter and the sweet. Whereas if you've only had sweet and not the bitter, you can't really appreciate it. And if you've had just bitter and not known there's anything better, you probably just would put up with it. But the contrast of going from one to the other, from dark to light, I think is going to be absolutely mind-blowing and incredible. And that's how it's done. That's how all the things about the children are all going to be remedied through the quantum, because quantum is 107. Quantum 107 is trumps. 107 is military. 107 is atonement. 107 is Superman. And it's no coincidence that Superman has come out this week, and that I'm friends with Superman's first, well, one of my friends is best friends with Superman's first partner, Gay. She had the first two children of Christopher Reeve. And there's no coincidence that's come out. It's no coincidence that film, Heretic, has come out with Chad and Tom. Actually, so I put this, I think I said maybe in another video, but when I went and watched it the next night, just for 5 minutes, just to record the opening bit, it says Tam. So it's not Tom, it's Tam. But it's actually even better than saying Tom, because Tam is the Scottish version for Thomas and for Tom. And I served as a missionary in Scotland, 88, Mormon 88, Trump 88, California 88, 88 miles per hour, Edinburgh 88. That was the mission. Edinburgh, Scotland is 176, Back to the Future, November the 5th. And Chad was my missionary companion trainer, me, Tam. We had a woman called Vicky. She was a bit cheeky, but she was fun. And she wanted to know our names, because you just say Elder Bushnell or Elder Howie. And so we told her. She'd always referred to him as Chad. She can't really get an abbreviation of Chad. And then she called me Tam. So, and guess what else? Tam, TAM is 34, which is Leap, which is DJT. And do you remember I told you Tom Numbers is in the movie Heat? The credits? Well, the word heat, it comes to 34 as well. We live in a dream world, everyone. and everyone's gonna wake up together. It's incredible. Can you believe this is upon us? I mean, we've always been told about the millennium. We always hoped it would happen, but we didn't probably really feel that it would, or how it would. It seemed to be so far in the distance. But as soon as Corona came in, I knew that's what it was, because coronavirus is 122, coronavirus is 155, which is the millennium 155, which is singularity 155, and that's what's going to happen. And Jetson White talks about the angle of singularities and two singularities to change dimensions, etc. But if you do 155 singularity plus 155 singularity, it comes to 310, and the 310th day of the year is today, November 5th, which is the quantum financial system, which is Malachi 310, which is 310 to Yuma. The wall is 48, Tom, another brick in the wall. Pink Floyd, pink is Donald in Numbers 50. And Donald kept going down to the wall in Arizona, and my mate Chad lives in Arizona. That's it, that's what the Dreamweaver does. It brings all threads together. And the great Dreamweaver, which is President Trump, is able to use everything, all timelines. They were showing films today on TV that I'd not heard of. One's called All the King's Men, and it talks about this guy running for office. I didn't see all of it, but he was using phrases that President Trump has. So one of them was about, the guy said, "They're not after me, they're after you." That was in the film. This is like a film from the 1950s or 40s. There was stuff about King Solomon. There was stuff about Atlantis. Ivanka put out a tweet today about 17 points to a better life. Just so many things. So many things are all coming together, all in one great whole. It's like a kaleidoscope. It's inevitable, and we're just here now on the precipice. It's about to happen. So I'm blown away that it's here, and have faith, everyone. Whatever's coming, and we've got a good idea of it now. We felt it, and it's about okay. So we've got 239 in the chat. I think it was 238 at one point. So 238 is Tuesday, November 5th. 238 is also 1997, when Schwarzenegger says in Terminator 2 about Judgment Day, he says on August 29th. August 29th is 261, which is November 5th. Guy Fawkes. And then 238, 1997 is November 5th, Tuesday. So that's when it is. They pinpointed it in that film, and I knew the films back in 2020 when it all came out, and I've always loved Terminator 2. It's all about to happen, folks. I'm going to attempt to get on Twitter a little bit later and do a video there. So watch my Twitter feed. There's loads of stuff I've put throughout the day. But like I said, I've had some hurdles trying to get stuff on there. So I'm going to endeavour to do that, and I'll probably hit things a bit harder, and we'll be closer to the deadline as well. So anyway, thanks for your patience and love. And yeah, that was ground zero. Ground zero. And we are going to see the Twin Towers return, because there were two, and there was one, and then there's three. You have to bring them back. And the reason for that is 111 is perfection. 111 is New York. And the Tesla Hotel, Wyndham, New York at 222 is New York, New York. 222 is Winter White House, 222. And 222 times 4 is 888, which breaks the matrix. If you do 888 times 2, that's 1776. And 1776 is an overlap of 176, which is November the 5th, which is Back to the Future. It's about to happen, folks. It's about to happen. If we go back 12 years, I'm going to seek some of you guys out, because I think we'll remember. That's the thing. I think that's the blessing. We'll remember. That's the other thing President Trump said about weaves when he was talking to Joe Rogan, and he did it brilliantly. He was like just a kind of friendly uncle in that interview. You know, let Joe Rogan have the stage. It was just brilliant. But he said about the weaves, and he said if they, you know, can do them good, and he says they turn out good for good people, but if they're bad, then they're left in the wilderness, basically. So that's what's, it's the wheat and the tares. There's going to be two in a field, and then one will disappear, just like the Marvel movies, like the biblical prophecy. It's all part of the prophecy. Prophecy 106, red pilling. All right, folks. Lots of love. And I'll try and check in with you tomorrow if I can. if we can get connection, I'll tune in with you. If it's 10 Days of Darkness, then I mean maybe. I mean I haven't. There's probably one or two things I should get if that's going to happen, and it feels like it might do. So yeah, I should probably get a few things. Maybe a stove. Wow. All right, everyone. Thank you. I love you, and I appreciate your support. It's 282, thumbs up. 282 is 88 miles per hour. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to happen. 282 is also Eric Trump and Tom Numbers, and I had the 88 miles per hour t-shirt on when I did that with Eric. So, all right, everyone. Lots of love. God bless you. Thank you. Bye.